Good Tavach. I want to ask you, Kinderlach, a question. How many of you said thank you to your fathers, to your tatis, zaydis, whoever it is, that came and started out their week and came to learn with you whatever Matzah Shabbos they can? How many ever said thank you? Pick up your hands. Okay, well those that didn't, I think now would be a very good time. So turn to your father and say thank you. Because you know what? We live, Kinderlach, let me explain this to you. We live in a very, very complicated world. Everyone is so busy. No one has a second for themselves. And if you have tatis that say that the week starts and I have 10 trillion things on my head that I have to take care of, but to me there is nothing more important than to come to learn with my child and spend time with you, you know what that means? That means that you are very, very lucky. And you have a very, very special home. And the Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, the Rabbi Shalom should help that all of your tatis and mamis should have nothing but loads of nachas from you. And I want to hear a big amen that should shake the windows over here. Okay. You know, the Shina B'Rav said, tatis, that when a father learns with a child, the power of Rachmim that is generated in Shemayim is beyond imagination. Which is why the Satan does not like when fathers learn with children. V'haraya, I'm sure many of you can attest to this. I can tell you from my own personal experience. I'm trying to reach someone for 6 weeks. When does he call back? The second I sit down to learn with my son. The plumber you're trying to get a hold of for the last who knows how many months, when does he ring the bell? The second you sit down to try to learn with your child. And that shows us just how important it is that the Satan is angling everything toward it. Just a word to tatis before we start. You know, Baruch Hashem, Mazaycha to raise different generations of kids. I remember this summer, I was babysitting for my little Ben Zakuna, where he's 8 years old. And I was me and him alone. We were spending quality time. I had to finish something, and he was running around saying, Tati, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Play with the games. I play. What should I do? Figure out something to do. Let me finish. Please. Can I have the nash? Can I have all the nash you want? In a second, he's up on the nash closet, and he unloads an oitzer, a treasure over there. I'm in boxes and bags of potato chips. They're all lined up. They were prepared to go out Sunday to all the different camps, and he just took it all down. Do what you want, just let me finish what I have to finish. And as he's sitting there, mining his way through his newfound treasure, the door opens up, and in walks V'ni B'chayri Zal Zayin Gesund, my oldest son. He's in his 30s, and he looks at his kid brother, surrounded by all that nash. And you know, I knew what he was thinking. I didn't say anything. He says, Ta, can I ask you a question? My impulse was to say no, but I knew that wouldn't be correct. Mitzadei chinuch. His chinuch doesn't stop. It keeps going with a 30-year-old son. As you'll find out, Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach. So I said to him, sure. So he looks at his little brother, surrounded by these huge jumbo bags of potato chip, popcorn, pretzels, honey pretzels. This guy all kind of says to me, you know, in my days, do you know what we had to do for one bag of potato chips? I mean, like, you know, we have to clean the basement and have to go through 3 weeks that the English teacher didn't call and say we're about to be expelled. I mean, you know, the deals. So I said to him, listen here, Tata. Okay? The Rabbi Shalom is an amazing Schachter. Rabbi Shalom is a great matchmaker. And he knows exactly who to match to whom. And the Rabbi Shalom doesn't just pick Neshamais and Shemayim and say, you go to him, you go to him. The Rabbi Shalom gave you your child. It's your child. It's your child. It's your wife's child. The Ramban says there's a chelik of your neshama, which is part of the neshama of the child. So I said to him, not only is the Rabbi Shalom a good shadchan, and he knows which neshama to send to which parents, but it's even more than that. You see, the Rabbi Shalom knows which child needs a 20-year-old father, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu knows which child needs a whatever father. Okay? So you're right. You're right. I'm not saying that I was mechanech you the same way I was, you know, you may have been different rules or regulations, different ground rules on the ground. You're going to learn as your kids get older, if this is the way it is, this kid needs this and this kid needs that. You know, we're in a world where people say it's impossible. We are going to lose the fight. It's impossible. Technology is overwhelming us. And the nisyonos, the dangers, the pitfalls, from tiny games to little things, it's so dangerous. The Schachter is around the corner. Why fight it? Why fight it? I tell you, there was a Talmud Rebbe, yes, Yisrael, very interesting person. He hid a lot of his greatness. So he once stood out on a night like this, and they're waiting for the Levana. They want to be Machadish the Levana. They're waiting for the new moon. Waiting. And somebody comes over to him, and he wants to antagonize him a little bit, wants to chap him a little. He says, you know, they say stories about the Baal Shem Tov, when they came out to be Machadish the Levana, so they took out a handkerchief, or the Pachayla, that was like the Rebbe's handkerchief, a scarf, and they waved it, and lo and behold, the moon moved over, the clouds dispersed, and the moon shined forth. So you're a Rebbe, go do it. So he takes it and he waves, and they look up, nothing doing, no moon. So somebody goes, he says, Rebbe, he brings out a chair, little step ladder, and he says, get onto the step ladder, because then you'll be closer to the moon, try it. So the Rebbe, he gets onto the step ladder, and Chassidim saying, what are you doing? We're going to be the laughing stock of all of Bnei Brak, which is where he lived. So he gets onto the step ladder, and he waves, and lo and behold, there comes a wind, and the moon appears. So he gets down afterwards, after Kiddush Levana, they sit down, they have a l'chaim, he says, I want to explain to you what happened. You think I waved away the clouds? But the Rabbi Shalom works this way. The Rabbi Shalom gives us a choice in life. Choice A is to say, impossible. I am not going to try. It's not going to work anyway. There's no way I can overcome this. Choice B is, it makes no sense that what I'm going to do is going to be effective. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the absence of me having a better idea, therefore I want to show you that I am trying. And once we show HaKadosh Baruch Hu that you are trying, the Baruch Hashem says, you're trying your best, I'll take over. Says, I didn't believe that I'm closer to the moon, but I believe that this is the max that I can do. And in terms of chinuch, there are no guarantees. Whatever you're going to do to your house, how can you protect your child in an environment like this? There are no guarantees. And it's almost an analogy. I'm not going to have this in my house, I'll filter this, I'll filter that, I'm getting onto a chair, what are you doing? You can't run away from it. You're right. We can show the Rabbi Shalom, I am doing my best. Talking about Kiddush Levana, let me share with you this story. There's a fellow in Yerushalayim, his name is Yassel, and he is a very, very interesting person. I had the opportunity of meeting him. Sometimes he walks, and you're in the middle of walking with him, and he turns around, and he starts walking backwards. Yassel, what are you doing? Yassel tainas, and I don't know how accurate he is, but he tainas that he knows where the Makom HaMikdash is in Yerushalayim, even if he's 50 blocks away. He does not want to walk with his back towards the Makom HaMikdash, so therefore he always turns around. So you're walking with this person, and he turns around. And he has a lot of other strange things, but he always wears plastic on his hands. I once asked him why. He said, don't ask me, because if I explain it to you, you're also going to have to wear plastic on your hands, and you don't want it. I said, okay, don't explain it to me. Now this thing about going backwards really came to a, shall we say, an interesting situation when he had to walk his son down to the chuppah, and he realized the way the chuppah was situated. He's the only one in the world that walked his son down to the chuppah backwards. Now, they say this story about Yassel. I don't know if it's true or not, but it kind of gives you the idea that he pulled up to Daven Ma'ariv, 3 o'clock. There's like these shuls, they're called the Shtibelach in Yerushalayim, and there was no minyan. So they say that he called 9 taxis, and when all 9 taxis came, they all got out, he said, Baruch Hu es Hashem HaMavayich. I don't want to tell you what the taxi drivers answered, but it was not Baruch Hashem HaMavayich Li'olam Vayich. He said later he intended to pay them, but they didn't like the idea anyway. So giving you that Hakdama, so let's follow Yassel now. Yassel's walking on the street, and he meets his friend David at 2 o'clock in the morning in Kikar Shabbat, in the middle, Mamish, in Geula, center of Yerushalayim, and it's raining. And David is standing, And David is looking up. And Yosel goes over to him, and Yosel says, David, was tust du? He says, tonight's the last night for Kiddush Levana. And I'm looking up, and I'm waiting for a Levana. He tells him, David, you know it's raining. There's not going to be a Levana tonight. He said, I have to try. I have to try. I will do my best, I will try. Whatever the Rebbeinu Shem does, the Rebbeinu Shem does. So Yosel says, you mind if I stand next to you? He goes, honestly, yes. I knew you wouldn't mind. And he stands, he's looking up, and after a while, Yosel says, David! What? I just realized when you stand and you look up and it's raining, yeah, your mouth gets full of water. Yosel, go home, Yosel. He goes, look, I got to find you a Levana. Got to find me a Levana. He says, maybe there's a Levana someplace. So in those days, there's no cell phone yet. So he runs over to the payphone, he puts in the asimon, it used to be the coin, and he calls up a friend of his, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, who lives in Sfas. Now just imagine, this poor guy is sleeping and the phone rings. Hello? Ah, Chaim! Yeah. Thanks for Yosel. Hello, Yosel. Hey, I woke you up? No, I had to wake up to answer the phone anyway. What? What's the matter? Listen, I got a shayla for you. Yeah, what's the shayla? Outside, Star Levana. What? Star Levana. Levana. His wife says, who is it? It's the Levana. I mean, it's I don't know. He gets out of bed, he steps into the Negelas, he walks out, he looks up, he goes, no, Yosel, no Levana, leave me alone. Boom. David says, what are you waking people up at 2 o'clock in the morning? No, I don't wake them up. They have to wake up for the phone anyway. Boom. He calls the guy in Tveria. Bring. Hello? Hello? They say, Yosel. All right, I have to scream. Listen, quick, run out of the house. What? He wakes up his whole house. The terrorists, run out of the house. Everyone, I got a call. Everyone grabs the babies. They go running out of the house and standing outside. What? Where? What? Star Levana? Well, what's he screaming about? David says, I don't want you to call anyone else. Do you understand? You have no right to wake somebody else up just because you want to do a mitzvah. Sorry. And all of a sudden this car comes pulling up. And 2 people get out of the car. And he goes over to them. Yosel goes, Wie kommt das? Where are you coming from? Yosel, please talk a little bit lower. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. This is low. You should see when I talk high. Where are you coming from? We're coming from the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. Star Levana died. Is there a Levana there by the Ma'aras HaMachpelah? But you should know, we were just there in Hebron, yes, and there's a beautiful Levana there. David! Yosel gives David a zetz on his back. David goes flying. Yosel! There's Levana by the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. That's very good. How exactly we get there? I'm going to hitch. Stands there, he's hitching, there's nobody coming by. The garbage truck comes by. Going to the Ma'aras HaMachpelah! They shake their heads. Yosel, I'm going to call a taxi. Now, those days, it just so happened that there was a lot of problems and a lot of rioting going on near the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. So nobody wanted to travel there, and definitely nobody wanted to travel there at night, and you couldn't get a taxi at 2 o'clock in the morning. So Yosel picks up the phone. You know the taxi drivers are his best friend, right? Hi, this is Yosel. No, don't call us a Baruch. No, Baruch. I want to go to Ma'aras HaMachpelah. No! So in other words, you don't want to go? Yeah! Oh yeah, you going? Boom! Call the next taxi. Hello? Yeah. Have a taxi? Yeah. Where do you want to go? Yosel says, I forgot what it's called. Let him come. We'll get in the taxi. I'll remind myself. Taxi shows up. He said he's going to the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. He's asking him to go. Yeah, he said, like, whatever. Yeah, come. They get inside. The driver says, where are you going? They say, Yosel says, and I forgot what it's called. It's in this direction. Keep going. When I see it, I'll remind myself. All right? So they're driving like 10 minutes. They leave the outskirts of Yerushalayim. The driver says, where are we going? A little further. There's a road, Derech Hebron. They're driving there. He goes, yeah, I don't want to go so far to Yerushalayim. It's dangerous. Where are we going? A little bit further. Finally, after like 15 minutes of a little bit further, the driver slams on the brakes. He turns around. He says, "Tell me once and for all, where are we going?" So David says, "You can't fool him like this." He said, "We're going to the Maras Machpelah." And the driver starts screaming. He says, "You tricked me, this, that." He screams, "I'm not going to Maras Machpelah, no way in the world I'm going to Maras Machpelah." And Yasser says, "Okay, could you please take us to the Maras Machpelah?" I said, "Get out of my taxi!" He tells us to get out. And finally David says, as you can tell, David is a little bit the more reasonable one over here. David says, can you at least take us back to Yerushalayim? No, get out. He pushes them both out to a lonely, desolate road, and he pulls off, and the taxi turns on two wheels and drives off. And you know what they say about Israeli taxi drivers? They don't drive too fast. It's just that they fly too low. He just disappeared. And now David and Yassel are all alone on a road, on a dangerous road, very lonely. And David is looking up, maybe there'll be a Levana. And Yassel is looking around and going, ay, what do we do now? There's dangerous Arabs over here that could come out, and who knows what they could do to us at any moment. And suddenly from the distance, they see two people coming toward them, and the two people are holding guns. And Yassel's going, hey, David, don't worry about a thing. I'm here. David says, that's why I'm worried. And they're getting closer and closer. And David is looking up to see if there'll be a Levana. And Yassel is saying, I think we're soon going to be on the Levana. And they show up. And it turns out that these people that showed up, no, they're not Arabs. They were from a patrol from a nearby kibbutz. And they did not like Charedim, from people, very much. And one of them comes over to Yassel. And he goes, "Patrol!" Yassel goes, "Yassel!" He says, "What are you doing here?" Yassel says, "What are you doing here?" "Don't talk to me that way." "How would you like me to talk to you?" "What are you two, Yerushalayim? They get dressed like Yerushalayim. What are you doing here in a lonely road in the middle of the night?" "What are you doing here in a lonely road in the middle of the night?" "Listen here. You came here to start up with the Arabs, right? And make trouble." Yassel goes, "What? I never start up with anyone in my life. Only sometimes I wake people up in the middle of the night to find out there's a Levana there. I don't start up with people." "Yeah, then why are you here?" Yassel goes, "We're here for Kiddush Levana." This guy says, "Don't tell me I know about Kiddush. Kiddush you make Shabbos." He goes, "Oh, great Talmud Chacham, this guy. Listen in. I'm having you arrested." "You're having me what?" "I am having you arrested." "I'll have you arrested." Now these patrols, the way it goes, they can't really arrest someone. They have to call either an army unit or a police unit to come and arrest. So he gets on his radio and he goes, he starts talking. No, he's starting rapid fire Hebrew, and he says, "I need right now a patrol to arrest two dangerous Charedim that I have from Yerushalayim, and they're standing on a road to start up with the Arabs." And all of a sudden he goes, we don't have any patrol right now. We don't have anyone we can send you." "I said I need a patrol right now." All of a sudden Yassel, he has an idea. He grabs the radio, and he screams in, "Hakut Devach, everyone! Anyone see a Levana anywhere? Give me that! I said I need a patrol to arrest him. Anyone see a Levana? Give me that!" He's screaming to arrest. He's screaming a Levana. And finally someone calls from a checkpoint someplace, I don't know where. Two soldiers call back. They go, "No Levana over here." "All right. Any Levana over there?" He goes, all the cities. I need someone to arrest him." He goes, "Would you give the Levana guy back? He's more fun," the soldiers are saying. And from checkpoints all over the area, these soldiers are calling in, "No Levana here, no Levana there, no Levana there. Give me that thing, give me that radio. I need someone to arrest him." Who sees a Levana? Somebody has to see a Levana. And one soldier answers, he says, "I am in Keva Rachel right now. I'm in Keva Rachel, and you should know that there is a beautiful Levana over here." "Ah, Shkeya!" Boom. Then I want you to come over and arrest him right away. David, you heard? There's a beautiful Levana by Kever Rachel. Let's go! How? He looks around. Finally, one of the other guys on the patrol comes with a little jeep. He says, all right, we'll arrest them ourselves. Get on the jeep. Yasel gets onto the jeep. David gets onto the jeep. All of a sudden he goes, no, snap, Kever Rachel. You don't understand this. We're arresting you now. This is not a taxi service. Yeah, but there's a Levana by Kever Rachel. Then there's a Meshuggah over here in my his car. I'm arresting you. No. Calm down. And Yasel says, look over there. Look where? Yasel jumps into the driver's seat. He has no clue how to drive. He puts it in reverse. They back up into a gate. Boom, the whole gate comes crashing down. He puts it in drive. They're holding on for dear life. David is saying, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know. And they're driving this way and that way toward Kever Rachel. What he thinks toward Kever Rachel. And trust me, anyone on that road is getting off the road. You ever heard the person that said, if you don't like the way I drive, get off the sidewalk, right? That's what I was saying. This way, that way. And finally he comes flying all the way up to where Kever Rachel is. Now, right before Kever Rachel, there's a long tunnel. So it's very hot. In those days it was more or less open. There's like a stone gate. And Yasel drove right up to the stone gate. But I mean right up to the stone gate. They all go flying off. Boom. And meanwhile, I'm going to have you arrested. I'm going to have you. Yeah, so you arrest me soon. And they jump over the gate and they're running. And sure enough, it's almost morning. It's almost last minutes that you could be Mechadesh to Levana. And they look up and they see this gorgeous, beautiful Levana. And they start being Mechadesh Levana. And David starts crying. He goes, Rabbi Shalom, thank you. Yasel, thank you. You people that wanted to arrest me, thank you. Because never in my life did I miss Kiddush Levana. And he cries his heart out. And right afterwards, they all start dancing. And all the soldiers that are there start dancing with them. And all the people that are there start dancing with them. The only ones that weren't dancing were these two people screaming, I said I'm coming in to arrest you. Yasel grabs him by his hair. Come dance. What's with you? And they're dancing and dancing and dancing. And now the sun comes up and everyone leaves. And let me tell you what happens afterwards, my friends. Yasel, he goes over to the Paraichis, and Yasel, he gives it a kiss, and he cries out, and he says like this, Mamerach! You see my friend David, you know, he's married for 13 years, and he has no children. And we looked over all of Eretz Yisrael to find the Levana. And where did we find the moon? Over here by you. It was a lot of fun getting here. But we find it by you. If anyone knows the pain of not having children, Mama Rachel, you do. Please help David. And they walked out. And everyone went back home, one way or another. Yasel had a hard time getting a taxi, but Lamaisa they got home. But I want to tell you what happened that year. That year, this David had twin girls after 13 years of being married. And the twin girls were born on Yud Aleph Cheshvan, which is the yahrzeit of Rachel Imein. And this David happens to be the Rachmas Rivka Rebbe in Yerushalayim. So you know, Kinderlach, there are a lot of times in our life where we say, I'm not going to learn, it doesn't work anyway, I'm not going to listen to my Rebbe, I'm not going to listen to my father, he's never going to be happy. The Yetzer Hara loves to say, forget it, give up. You know what we have to do? You know what we say to the Yetzer Hara? Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu never told me I have to be successful. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me I have to try. And when you will try, and I will try, even if it means getting up on a chair, you will see how many dark clouds in life will move away from us, and both the Levana and the moon will shine together. A gute Woche, Kinderlach.